Welcome back to Bowls with the Bard. My name is Cakes. I am your host. Today we have with us Mr. Brendan Lane. He is joining us just back from sailing the seven seas, playing guitar and being fantastic.
Doing my thing.
Yeah, he has also worked with Monumental Theater Company in Washington, D.C., playing for them. Do you have anything else you want to add about yourself?
Nothing really out of the ordinary. You nailed it. I just play the guitar and do my thing, yeah.
Yeah, Brendan is a freaking amazing guitar player,
Thank you.
as hopefully we will see a little bit of later. But before we start having any more of a conversation, we are going to smoke a bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you twist my arm. That way nice and toasty.
Yes. First question.
Alright.
What experience got you to love Shakespeare?
I think what it was my senior year of high school. I was in my English literature class, and I had already been in theater classes and stuff in high school, and knew plays and started to know what like the main his famous ones were about, and thinking like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, you read Romeo and Juliet freshman year, and you saw the Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and it's like, oh, action, that's kind of cool. Shakespeare with this, he's all right. And then you dive into it. But I remember we were reading Othello, and I remember reading it, and it was the first time I had read Shakespeare a Shakespeare play from top to bottom, and being like, this is really fucking twisted. This is really fucked up. This guy's crazy. And then I saw the teacher showed us this video that had all these famous actors and actresses citing Shakespeare plays and talking about why it's important to them. And Tom Hanks comes on and starts talking about sonnets and iambic pentameter and how it's like this heartbeat. And I was like, that's natural. And then from then on, you kind of read other books that have that same kind of flow, and you trace it back, and it all goes back to him. So, you know, he's like the root of all literature. Not all literature, but
like tons of English literature, like for sure.
Yeah, and creating a connection between words and audience.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Since you are a musician,
yes,
I would like to know if you could score any Shakespeare play with pop music, what would it be and why?
With pop music.
Or like rock, or whatever genre you will.
Titus Andronicus as like a heavy metal show. You know, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Or, I don't know, you can make like Julius Caesar. You could get like a famous band to commission a couple of like really powerful songs for that.
Yeah.
And make it into this like really dramatic epic that it should be, you know? Because it really builds really well. So I think if you said that to music, that would be really nice.
Yeah.
Julius Caesar would be a good one.
And
then obviously like Midsummer, and then you have Elton John, who basically put music to Hamlet, but just set it to The Lion King.
Yeah. That's true.
That turned out well.
Yeah, you don't even realize that.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. Elton John set the music to Hamlet, and it turned out really great. It's still running on Broadway right now, and the music is powerful. But I think Julius Caesar would be fucking cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'll do it.
Cast
Let me get on that. Cast me.
What is your favorite Shakespeare play?
Twelfth Night. That was the one that made me. After reading Othello, we just had to pick one in theater class, and I picked Twelfth Night. And I remember reading it and being like, "This guy is." To think of that complex of a plot line was beyond me, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why, and it's hysterical. The language, his use of language, and his jokes in that play crack me up, man. Yeah. But I like his sonnets a lot too, because his sonnets are it's the pure poetry, and that relates a lot to songwriting. You'll see it a lot, his use of imagery, and there's one, Arctic Monkeys lead singer Alex Turner is very Shakespearean in the way he phrases things. And I think it's that twinge of Englishness that they both have that makes the similarity kind of easy to make. But whenever I listen to Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys lyrics, I always think of like Shakespeare.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very poetic in that sense.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'd never really listened to them before until like a week ago on the
Really?
way to a rehearsal for Othello.
John Seeger got me really into.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to them more. I was digging what I was hearing. So.
Definitely.
So, you are here specifically because you feel that pop music in Shakespeare in general is underrated. So
I think his influence in popular music and like songwriting
okay.
is incredibly underrated.
Yes.
I mean, you have it's not popular now, but it was popular back in the day. But the band Rush quotes Shakespeare in their song Limelight on All the World's a Stage and
yeah.
Men and Women Just Merely Players. They quote that in a rock song. That's crazy. And like how many rock and roll songs allude to Shakespeare in just such a blatant manner. But I think, like I said, with his sonnets and everything, the way he can portray an image and tell a story in these 16 lines translates to the same way you can tell a story with just a verse and a chorus and a verse. This Bob Dylan did it all the time. I took a class at Catholic University where we had an entire section dedicated to Bob Dylan, and the name of the section was Bluesman as Bard, because of the way he literally tells stories through poetry, but just sets it to music. Is able to come up with all these universes of characters and plot lines and twists and turns in a song, in a 5-minute song, is beyond me. The same way he could do it, Shakespeare could do it with like a sonnet, tell this like elaborate story where feel like you know these characters so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know something awesome?
I do.
I was in a production of Julius Caesar at Baltimore Shakespeare Factory, the place you saw me in before.
Fantastic.
All of the pre-show and intermission music was all Bob Dylan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And the whole time, like every night I'd hear a different lyric and be like, wow,
yeah,
this goes so well with this play. That's amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's just on like a literary level, not even on. I just totally lost my train of thought. Say perhaps the drugs, kids.
Yeah. So, would you like to whip out your guitar?
Sure. Like, what song would I play to?
We could do
the
that.
one that I remember. Well, there's a song called Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. It's really good. I've never learned how to play it, but you should look it up on Spotify or YouTube's, since you're already on YouTube. But I remember in the Leonardo DiCaprio version, they had a cover of Prince's When Doves Cry, sung by like a children's choir. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I remember hearing that when I saw the movie when I was a freshman in high school, and being like, wow, it made you think about the song in a completely different context on a much deeper level than just this 80s kind of pop synth song, you know? Which, I mean, I would keep that. I would keep When Doves Cry by Prince for Romeo and Juliet. This is cool. I like this.
Yeah. Okay, so you said Othello was a big influence.
Yeah.
What would you think of for Othello?
It's not dramatic enough, but it's the one thing that comes to mind right now, and it's kind of macabre. But Carrie Underwood's I dug my key before he cheats.
I love that. The like quintessential song my director of Othello had to have for our version of this show was Mr. Brightside.
Interesting.
Which I like
kinda
when he
cool.
first said it, I was like, what? And then I went and listened to the lyrics, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you're literally
Yeah.
singing about jealousy, like
Exact jealousy.
like right. If you could pair like one artist with like, you said you like 12th Night, so if you could pair like one artist's music with 12th Night.
Ooh, maybe something like Cheap Trick or Frank Zappa or something like that. Like somebody that doesn't take it too seriously, you know. Like I think that would be perfect for 12th Night. Not that they didn't take their music seriously, because Frank Zappa is one of the most serious musicians to ever walk the face. Some of the interviews like scare me, and I feel like I'm a very like professional musician. I take that back. But there's something about his music and what comes across is very tongue-in-cheek and satirical in a way, and I think that
Yeah,
fit.
that works well for 12th Night, for sure. Alright, my last question for you.
Yes.
You could give a piece of advice to somebody who was interested in combining music and Shakespeare. What would that piece of advice be?
Find a way to make it different and stand on its own. Because it can be done. If it's done well, it's done incredibly well. It works. It works. Yeah. But just find a way to make it different and stand out. But don't kill it.
No.
Don't kill it.
No.
Toe the line.
No. Wise words.
Thank you.
Well, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on Bulls with the Bard, Mr.
You're
Brendan.
welcome.
Awesome. Would you like to play us out?
Sure.
Cool. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more content like it, please like us on Facebook at Bulls with the Bard, subscribe to us on YouTube at Bulls with the Bard, and follow us on Instagram at Stone Shakespeare. We will see you guys later.